Hi guys, welcome to another video. This time I want to do a summary of what you were supposed to learn this week. Before you take the quiz on Thursday or the test on Friday, you should probably watch this video, and you should watch the one from last week where I summarized the Earth's layers summary, because that's what's on your test. So here we go. I'm going to get rid of me, and I'm going to put this on big so you can see it, and what you should have learned this week. Here we go. First thing you should have learned is that the Earth's crust is broken up into a whole bunch of plates. There are all of these listed. What you're supposed to know are the 7 major ones, which is North America, South America, African, Eurasian, Indo-Australian. Now, sometimes these are split. See how this says there's India up there? So that can be different depending on who you talk to. Then we have the Antarctic here at the bottom and the Pacific plate. Now, depending on how the map is oriented, the Pacific could be split, it could be whole. It just depends on how it's set up. So when you're looking at a plate, be careful. This one you'll actually see on the test. Note the arrows on here. All these little arrows tell you which way the plates are moving. So I can see like this one is pushing into this one, which means I'm probably getting some mountains or volcanoes. These two are pulling apart, and that happens to be an ocean there, so I've probably got a mid-ocean ridge. Over here, they're kind of going the same direction. So if they're not going the same speed, they're going to run into each other. And here they're coming together, and so you're going to get some mountains or volcanoes there. Remember the ring of fire around here? Look why you have a ring of fire, because you got all these plate boundaries. So know your major plates, know what happens at the plates boundaries, which is the other big thing you were supposed to learn this week. So here's a summary, excuse me, that I did. This is in your study stack if you want to practice it. But here's the type of boundary. So here's where we have two kinds coming together. In this case, ocean to continental. Because the ocean crust is more dense, it's going to go under, and you're going to get a trench on the ocean side, and you're going to get volcanoes on the land side, because this crust comes under. When it gets far enough down, it melts, and the melted magma comes up to the top and forms volcanoes. The Andes Mountains in South America are an example. The other way that crust can come together is if it's a continent pushing into a continent. They're both the same density. So depending on, again, on how fast they're moving, one's going to eventually go under the other, but there's going to be more of a push up, which you're going to get mountains here. These are land-to-land mountains are sometimes called folded mountains, because the land pushes up and curls around. And an example is the Himalayan mountains. That's where the Indo-Australian plate pushes into the Eurasian plate. And that's why the mountains get a little higher every year, is because the plates are still moving. And here is our moving away from each other plates. These are called divergent. If this happens underwater, you get what's it shows here, which is a mid-ocean ridge. And as the plates pull apart, it leaves a hole or a gap, which fills with new magma, creating new crust. So if you're asked where would new crust form, it would be at one of these kind of boundaries. If it's happening over land, eventually the land just keeps getting thinner and thinner, the crust. Eventually water will fill in, and you'll end up with a lake of some sort. And then eventually it will pull all the way apart and make a bigger body of water till it eventually becomes an ocean. So the mid-Atlantic ridge is our big example of that. And then the last one is where plates are moving like this. One's moving one way, one's moving the other way, but they're sliding past each other. And they slide and they grind. And so you don't get a lot of landforms there, but what you get is a lot of earthquakes. And the earthquakes, if they're strong enough, can shift the land and push it up or down. But mostly what happens is it just crumbles everything and you get destruction during the earthquake. But when that's not earthquake time, you don't really even see it there. The San Andreas Fault in California is our big example of that. So make sure you're comfortable with what's happening at each type of plate, and we will hope that you do well on your quiz. Don't forget that on your test, you get to take it twice, once for the test and once for the retest.